Where did I get this number? I'm Atlas 4. Okay, so seizure warning. We're doing some more messing with the blender. Messing about on blender. Doing a stinking sword for the Gurry the swordsman, aka I'll get to that part later. But currently I'm thinking about doing this real quick whilst I'm playing it on Blender so that I know what I'm actually covering. So let's get into it. Okay, right now we've got a cube. We're trying to make the chassis. Okay. Now the chassis is a bit of a thing. I needed to make it longer, so I duplicated it and I actively compacted it down. I wanted the walls to be a little bit thinner too, because usually when it comes down to these types of swords, they're made out of sheet metal, you know? There's a lot of swords made out of sheet metal, I swear. Just look them up. It's definitely a thing. I think I'm showing a little bit too much, if you think about it. Now we're working on the truncheon, which, that's definitely a sword term. Truncheons. Sounds like a sword term to me. Don't think about it, and you'll definitely think that's a truncheon. Or not truncheon. Sword term. By the way, I think I made the barrel a little bit too big from the truncheon's perspective, which is a mistake, and I didn't automatically mean to do that. So sorry about that. Hey, look, this is a weird looking sword, huh? Huh. Yeah, it's possible weird. Either way. So right now we're going to move on to the gas, what is it called? Gas pipe insert of the truncheon part. It's going to be huge at first. I'm going to shrink it down, but first I did need to actively get a circle, so since I was already in an existing circle, I just used the barrel. I'm trying to raise up the chassis to meet the truncheon's upper end. Yes, Brynrin, I can snuggle you. Oh, and I'm adding in the mag dimple right now. I don't know how well I have the mag dimple because of how I built this thing. It was originally, okay. Whatever. Hello. Also, I tried to actively mess with the colors that the mag dimple could be, so that it actively could look better. I also added this kind of spacer in between the handguard and the truncheon, but of course that's what that is. Getting lost, not knowing what I'm actively applying materials to, and then forgetting where my camera is. Ain't that just a special combination of things that could occur? Why? Also, there is the gap for the bullets to come out from. Interesting sword that shoots bullets, but hey, that's when it comes down to what it actively does. Other than that, Rinrin's still complaining. We're starting up on the handguard. I'm gonna go try and see if I can get Rinrin real quick. Rinrin. Give me a second. Oh wait, I'm still recording. Okay. Okay, say hello to the camera. Hello, little Rinrin. Also, you guys should know at this point what this little fluff ball is called. This little fluff ball is actually called Rinrin, not Tugboat. Tugboat's my nickname for her. But I was using that to protect the identity of my two sisters, who now actively have shown that I exist. So you want to actively go check them out. I'm probably going to leave a link in the description for Hedgewolf, who I actually streamed with, channel. I think I'm going to prioritize the YouTube channel so that you can see this thinking collab that we did. Our Taku, who I have not collabed with yet, but we're siblings, so I'm going to check her stinking link too, if I can figure out how to find her channel. Other than that, look at Tugboat. And wow, those barrels are actively developing. Oh yeah, I forgot. The stinking flash guard gets absolutely brutalized. Oh yeah. There is a slight reason for that. Uneven flash guard ends actively lower down the ring, but also it looks absolutely horrible. And no, that is not the I forget what the heck's in the middle of Iron Man's chest. Infinity generator heart thing. Yeah, exactly. Your tugboat. Infinity generator heart thing is the proper definition. Ooh, look, hexagons. Cause it's the hexagons and they're gonna put a hex on you. Okay, when it comes down to it, that's supposed to be the kind of hexagonal AK guard thingamabob, because I hear those look cool, and I thought, how about I try to make one? And apparently Blunder was not built for that. Oh, this isn't actually an AK. This is a sword, clearly. It's actually its thinking Galil, but it's not gotten the Galil bit yet. I'll get around to that later. So, when it comes down to it, the Galil bit is going to probably come after this section, actually. This takes forever, though. Okay, when it comes down to it, I spent a whole, I think 2 hours on this mess. Just, thinking, duplicating, checking whether or not the normals were in the right place, finding out the normals were not in the right place, correcting, then actively checking if the normals were in the right place, and then finding out the normals were still not in the right place, and then correcting again. It was its own little mess, wasn't it, Tugboat? I was just sitting here silently going, and you were going like, me, and I'm like, grrr. Oh, she's sweepy. Okay. I also gave it the texture of green for whatever reason, and I'm gonna stay silent for this next bit. Well, I do something Christmassy, so I changed up the material colors, if you don't mind. So I changed them to Christmas colors, and I also have discovered I have way oversized the sword, which, to be honest, I can just fix it later, but having it this size right now is kind of important to make sure that it's properly done. But it also is funny how ridiculous it is. Oh ho ho! Santa's got a odd snowboard this year. 762 by 39. Wind. Okay, move on with that. Merry Christmas. Actually, no, I'm just gonna skip this next bit. Mohaha. Yeah, let me skip it. I don't go pressing random buttons. Oh crap. Did you skip it? How'd you do that? Well, either way, right now we're working on the charging handle. I still don't know exactly what she did there. Must have been voodoo magic. So, actively speaking, the charging handle is a 2-bit system with a charging bit that actively comes out to give you better grips. Also, we're working on the, I don't even know what you want to call this, the mounting system for the optic, but now we're back on the charging handle again. Okay. I'll explain the mounting system and the optic later, but actively, right now we're working on the charging handles, I don't know, better grip bend thing. And now we're working on the internals of the Galil to make it, actually justified, even though that is completely and totally unnecessary and causes nothing more than more lag. But at the opposite end of it, I wanted to actively add that in because I put in effort. I did. I thought about what would make a Galil work inside of a flooping AK, where the stinking charging handle's at the bottom of the flooping AK. And yes, it's a ridiculous idea that probably only works in fiction, but at some point I thought about it, I did. So that's what I chucked out. Okay? Was it a wise decision? No. But it's the decision I made. In short, I wasted my time. Please watch. Okay, finishing up cleaning up the charging handle, and now we're working on the mounting system. Now then, this part is actively an interesting reference to a particular firearm, where they had an interesting way of making sure that you would actively pull the latch in and out. But the idea of that thing was that it would actively hold the... Why am I waiting so... Okay. The idea behind that thing was that it would hold the dust cover and the optic rail on that particular piece of metal. I'll show that later because I do that later. Right now the stock is currently just taking a while apparently. But this stock is not a normal stock. I tried to make it so that it actually leans over the gun instead, or not over the gun, over the shoulder instead of on the shoulder collarbone area. So it's a little bit more like a rocket launcher, I guess. With the whole entire, it just goes over instead of on. If that makes sense. Now we're working on a handguard, handle. And now Aaron is complaining. My poor little baby, yada yada. Don't worry, Lasana's actively chasing her about. Now working on a trigger assembly from like 5 miles away. Why the heck did I, like, yeah, there you go. Okay. Oh no, we're adjusting so that we can actively show the mode select, which I made in a funny manner. Because if I had it on the opposite end of the stinking AK, I'd be getting in the way of the folding aspect of the stock, and I wanted to make it so that you could actively like operate the firearm properly without folding the stock, which I know I didn't have to do because of the whole stinking mess, but I chose to actively try for some realism. Not complete and total realism because the stinking inside of the barrel glows, but some realism. I made it a, fun AK with 3 holes instead of 2. It's always better when they have 3 holes instead of 2. Okay, that's a bad joke. But when it comes down to it, I don't know what just happened, but I'm pretty sure something's... Oh yeah, I'm working on the handguard right now, trying to give it a structure that is both metal and a polymer. Apparently it is both metal and child from the stinking hallway who cannot figure out attention does not come for free. You have to come here. I usually give her for free anyway, but at some point this is getting ridiculous. Either way, I'm trying to do it with a polymer mix. Now then, the original concept with this was with the idea that it's actually on the inside the polymer and then it just like comes out. We transfer it over to the epoxy mesh and now we go to the bolt. The bolt is the bolt. Okay. It's what holds the stinking round in the chamber and yada yada, and I think at this point you can kind of figure out that this is not a sword, it's actually a stinking Galil, but at some point I did want to make the slight joke that it was an odd looking sword. I actively did angle the insides of the lugs because that's apparently something that helps with the AK/Galil variants with their lockup, so I just did that. I also added in the mechanism that makes the actual charging handle work, which is inside of the bolt carrier instead of the bolt because I'm broken inside and I probably shouldn't have done that. But either way, I made it very clear that this part was welded on after the bolt little like micro lock thing was placed in. So that was one of those things that I was kind of a little bit proud of. And then I made this knock-up spring thing because I didn't want to actually like texture a stupid cylinder into a spring. So like I did that. It was a quick thing. It technically should function as long as like heat treated and stuff properly, but I got no idea. Either though, it was the illusion of a spring, not the operation of one. Whatever. I gave this thing a very hunky dory bolt carrier. I gave this thing a very large bolt carrier, and there's the recoil spring. Yet again, I do not want to stinking like texture a spring in, so I just roll with it. I also separate out the recoil spring from the dust cover because of what you're about to see, which is that I make the dust cover a polymer instead of a straight up piece of metal because I want it to look better. For clarification, this gun is more for looks than for 120% function because there's polymer all over that's stinking shiny and transparent, and I wanted that to actively just look good, so that's kind of the priority. This part, though, is the optic mounting system, which, you know, it's kind of just, you know, improving? Yeah, I think improving's the best term for this. It's a quick mock-up of what looks like a AK rail system. I don't know how accurate or inaccurate it is. I'm just guessing, though, that it is relatively inaccurate to what a real one would even have. I also add some more polymer to the stinking handguard because that makes it look cool. And now we're going into the Stars and Stripes Picatinny, which I completely and totally effed up that one section there, but recording that one section. Also, this is funny. I actively duplicated the Star Picatinny on the opposite end of it, but that accidentally made it upside down stars, which, if you think about what an upside down star is, I quickly decided not to do that. You know, after doing all this editing and stuff to actively, like, clean it up and all that stuff. Okay, make it where it's actually connected to the actual handguard to optimize it just a wee touch. And then, after a certain point... Oh no, I even was thinking cut the lines for it so that it's actually, like, fully integrated in. And then I realized halfway through, or not halfway through, I don't know. This process was completed, and then I realized my mistake. Right there. And go. It's gone. I thought about keeping it for a wee while. You can see the star is upside down. Or, no. Oh, I fixed it now. Okay. That took a very short period of time to do that. Okay. So we're on the fixing it phase. I have fixed it. Fixed it, I did. On that, I'm adjusting where the part is that does that, because otherwise it would be just off in the middle of nowhere. Sorry, just off in the middle of nowhere. So I actively made sure that the bolt was in the correct place. On that, I added in a bolt release. I did not justify this bolt release. I'm sorry, I just didn't. So you have bolt release. It is magic bolt release. We do not know how it works. Okay, I just ran out of time to actually do that. I added the magazine as a single chunk as an extension of this object. They be speed demons back there. I made it fancy with some grips, and far more importantly, a piece that glows because I glow. Okay, I just, want to add that there and add a little bit more oomph to it. So I thought it'd actively be a decent idea to pull out. I also added in a little hook thing to actively check that on a wall or something. If you want to check a mag on a wall. I don't know why you'd want to check a mag on a wall. I also added a mag release. I did not animate that mag release. I did not justify that mag release. It is a mag release. I also did not add a trigger assembly, so whoop-de-doo-da-day. And I am currently messing around with the stock, trying to figure out how to make that thing work. Anyway. Oh yeah, and we're adding in the sword aspect now. Okay. Don't fret, though. The sword aspect is an absolutely amazing, great and girthy sword. It is absolutely massive. Oh, and I forgot. It didn't show for the longest time, so I had to actively go in and adjust that. But now we're actively adding in that great and girthy sword aspect. Why the heck is this taking so... Oh yeah, because I'm currently messing around with the actual shape, trying to make it into more of a cylinder. Now we got a knife coming out. Sword blade. Definitely a sword blade. Okay. This is a sword blade. Just don't think about it. Trying to make sure that looks sharp. Giving it that nice lean, and that was it. So, with that acknowledged, I think I did a relatively decent job on this sword. If you guys... That's buff. If you guys actually like the video, like the gun, like whatever the heck I made, then please leave a like. This took me forever. I'm going to have to come up with a out of nowhere stinking New Year's video. I don't even know how I'm going to do that in such a short period of time. I'll be rushing, but as for you, I hope you enjoy this video. And if you do not enjoy this video, either way, hugs and kisses, whatever the heck. Don't die, Snuff Bond! I had to say comment. Why didn't I say comment? Like, subscribe, comment, that kind of thing. Merry Christmas.